Hey, what's happening, people? You are back, and I'm happy to see you. I am back as well, live right here on Facebook once again, thanking you for tuning in to yet another episode of my 7 Pillars of Mental Performance in 365 days. I am your personal high-performance mindset coach and public speaker, Jay Hollingshed, and this is episode 209 of 365. Today is Saturday, day 7 of the week, in which we will be discussing pillar number 7. Pillar number 7 is positive and negative self-talk. Positive and negative self-talk. Now, I got to give shouts out to everybody that tunes in right at 9 o'clock as soon as we start. Denise Siggers, what's up? What's happening? I appreciate you for tuning in. Also, my brother AJ, Arthur Hollingshed, I love you, man. I promise you I do, man. Every time you're tuning in, you're one of my front row seat season ticket holders, and followed by Lisa Hollingshed, the wife. Yes, she is in the house. Shirley Moore Borland, thank you for tuning in. You are also right on the top of the hour. I appreciate you as well. Those that are watching this on repeat, I thank you for being a blessing to me. You can watch this video on YouTube as well, in its entirety, along with all of my other videos that are on YouTube. This video will be on YouTube within 24 hours of this broadcast right now. So here we are. It's 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're getting right into my 7 pillars of mental performance. Today is Saturday. Once again, pillar number 7, positive and negative self-talk. Now, what we're going to briefly discuss this evening is how to put some controls on the negative self-talk. We know that your self-talk can either be positive or negative. Of course, when your self-talk is talking to you, and it's your psyche that's talking. So when your psyche is doing the talking and it's positive, yes, we want that. We want the positive results it can yield. However, to make sure that it's positive most of the time, we have to get past all the negative self-talk that our psyche can do. And it has been statistically proven that 85% of our self-talk is negative. So we got a lot of work to do on a repetitive basis to get our self-talk lower, at that percentage of negative self-talk lower than 85%, and bring up the percentage of positive self-talk. Now, if you're listening to and you are adhering to your negative self-talk, it can affect you in a number of ways. 2 ways it affects people in the most common way is that it will talk to you about your past mistakes, or it will tell you you're not good enough to do something you are trying to do, or something you are trying to complete in the future. Now, that will have you thinking about or trying to control something you cannot control. You cannot control the past, and you cannot control the future. Thinking about what happened in the past, yes, we've made mistakes, and yes, we have learned from them and grown from them. But making those mistakes are in the past. If you dwell too much on your mistakes that the negative self-talk is trying to push on your mind, you will be entering a depressed state, a state of depression, or you're showing symptoms of depression. Now, if you are dwelling too much on what your self-talk is saying you cannot achieve in the future, then you are being anxious. You are being anxious for another thing you cannot control, which is the future. And being anxious about something you cannot control, you will start to exhibit symptoms of anxiety. So symptoms of depression and anxiety can come from succumbing to the negative self-talk of your psyche. However, hopefully this video and any other video I've done on a Saturday will help you control your negative self-talk. Now, controlling your negative self-talk starts with realizing you can control yourself. Controlling yourself is controlling everything else, because you are the center of your world. When you control the core or the center of your world, you control everything else around it. You have to control yourself first. Realizing you control yourself is realizing you can control yourself in the moment. In the moment in time, is here in the present, not the past, not the future, but here in the present time, control yourself. And when you are controlling yourself, you are controlling your performance. And when you control your performance, you are initiating a high performance mindset. Now, a brief story told by a sport performance psychologist, Ken Ravizza. Now, he's passed on, God rest his soul, but he is one of the guys I've studied intensely. And Ken, he interviewed 2 astronauts at Stanford University. And when he interviewed these 2 astronauts, he found out some interesting facts that 1 out of 3 astronauts, once they enter space, is deathly ill. 1 out of 3 astronauts gets severely car sick. And that car sickness can result in, or has resulted in, being highly disoriented, vomiting, and things of that nature. And that can last, or has lasted, up until 3 days of the mission in space for the astronauts. However, the astronauts can't call in sick. The astronauts can't just say, hey, swap out, let me take a 5-minute break or 15-minute break. I've been here 8 hours or whatever. Let me get my 2 15-minute breaks. It don't work like that in space. Nah, you're there to do a mission, and you have to do the mission. You have to perform regardless of how you feel. So you can't tell me that one of the 3 astronauts that's deathly sick, vomiting, disoriented, is not experiencing negative self-talk at that time. 3 days worth of negative self-talk. But they have to pull together and realize they have a job to do. They have to push through some kind of way in order to get their performance done. Like I said, this sickness has lasted up until 3 days. Now, the most important part of the space mission that the astronauts have to perform, that has to take place within the first 3 days. So the first 3 days of being in space is the most important days of the space mission. Now, so the astronauts have to find a way, and they pull through and perform regardless. Now, do they have the negative self-talk going on? Yes, they do. According to the interview, they had to deal with that. Now, they had to push through. Now, when you push through beyond the negative self-talk, you find a way to make that happen. What you do is you build confidence. Once you make that happen, you push through, you complete your mission, you succeed, you develop confidence. That confidence kicks in, and that's one thing that can control and silence your negative self-talk: confidence. Negative self-talk cannot compete with confidence, because the confidence is stronger than the negative self-talk. The confidence gives you a rush, a feeling, that adrenaline rush. I talked about it the other day when I talked about the dopamine rush that hits you, and it hits it, that you get that adrenaline feeling, and next thing you know, you are energized and ready to go. Your negative self-talk cannot compete with that. So when you complete a mission, when you push through beyond the negative self-talk that you have, you will build confidence. That confidence can be a motivating factor to push you through to your next phase. So how does the story of the astronauts help us? Well, we all have our negative self-talk. So find a way to push through past the negative self-talk. Think back to times when you have completed things you didn't think you were going to complete. Times when you were able to produce when you thought you weren't going to produce. When you really did a good job and you felt really good about yourself. And so that you got that feeling of confidence from that. That's what you need to think about. Think about those and push through. Have that confidence in your mind before you start your task. Then when the negative self-talk shows up, it will have to face the confidence that you've already placed in front of it. So before you start any episode, any performance, any mission, any task, make a quick list of things you've completed, things you feel good about, some of your greatest moments, your greatest achievements. When you do that, think about those, focus on those for a good 3 or 4 minutes. Then go into doing whatever task it is, or trying to complete whatever goal it is you're trying to complete. Once you do that, yes, the negative self-talk is going to come. That's its job. It's supposed to come. It's supposed to test you. I'm giving you a way to pass the test. You bring help to the test. Bring your confidence to the test. That's how you control the negative self-talk and not succumb to it. When you do that, you lower the percentage of negative self-talk and raise the percentage of positive self-talk that you have coming to you from your psyche. That's all that I have for today in episode 209 of 365. This has been day 7, positive and negative self-talk from pillar number 7 in my 7 pillars of mental performance. This is the end of the day. You already know what I'm going to say. Evaluate yourself. You either made excuses or you made efforts today. Did you make more efforts than you did excuses? If you made more excuses than you did effort, then check yourself. Reevaluate, start over, make a better tomorrow, fill tomorrow with more effort than excuses. That's all that I have. I am Jay Hollingshed, your personal high-performance mindset coach and public speaker, wishing you be well, stay blessed, and as always, through love, be a blessing. God bless.